Alright folks, in this video gonna help you guys out with your fuel settings, basically messing with your Mafcomp sliders. Some of you guys have emailed me some logs, and I'm seeing that just about everybody out there has your wideband and your air fuel ratio estimate not lined up where they need to be. And probably a lot of you guys don't realize that y'all need to have these lined up where these two numbers right here match. Basically, we'll start off, well, I'll just say this is what we're going to be adjusting, just the Mafcomp. We're not messing with fuel, not messing with timing, or Mafclamp. Mafcomp is what we want to mess with to get that in order. Basically, all it's doing is just adjusting your air fuel ratio, nothing else, and that's all I'm going to touch on in this video. This is your open loop max octane table. This table basically tells your computer exactly the air fuel ratio you want from the lowest RPM and load all the way up to the highest RPM and load. And this is basically your goal of what you want to be hitting throughout the RPM band. You're telling the computer this is what you want to see. You basically set it and forget it, and then you make all your adjustments through a Mafcomp. Now this particular one right here is an Evo 8 stock table. There's different ones out there. You can do them from scratch. If you have some pro tuner who can do it for you, that's fine, whatever. But for the beginner, this is a good one to use for the Evo 8 stock map. This is even what Tom from Ecmlink uses himself for his own car, and this is one I suggested to this gentleman to use for his car. Anyway, let's get to it. Basically, what we're going to do here, just to for a heads up, what you want to log, of course, your RPM. Don't worry about the name on this one. I had to change it for specific reasons, but won't touch on that during this video. But you need to log your wideband, your air fuel ratio estimate, your wideband factor, and your MAF raw. Now the reason why you need MAF raw, basically when you're going through this and adjusting your Mafcomp, this whole field right here is basically your MAF raw. Is basically what you're looking at. So whatever numbers you see in MAF raw is going to be the same number over here. These numbers are just rounded off. So when you make adjustments, you want to get as close to these numbers as possible. You don't want anything in between, like say 547 or something like that. You want to get as close as you can to those numbers. So let's go ahead and show you what I mean by that. If you notice down here, you got your numbers here. Of course, they're going to change as you're scrolling through. Let's try and find one that's about a good rounded out number. Now I will say this is a good, this log particular one is a good example of one you need to be using when you're making these adjustments. And what I mean by that is this is a third gear pull from about 20 miles per hour all the way up to red line. And this is what I had requested this gentleman to do. Reason being is you can see it's a nice long line from the left all the way to the right. You don't have a bunch of up and down, changing of gears. It kind of makes it difficult to make good, accurate changes. Now you notice his speed is a little choppy. There's things you can do that to smooth that out, but we won't touch on that on this video either. We're just worried about fuel settings for now. But anyway, where we're at right now is probably a good one to adjust, about 1496. So we'll adjust to 1500 hertz field. And now this one here, he hasn't done anything above probably basically idle. Everything's set to 0. So any changes we're doing is going to go straight from 0 to whatever adjustments we have to make. Now Mafcomp, the Mafcomp adjust, which Tom states in one of his demos, is a good way to save you a lot of time when having to do this versus having to do each individual little slider. If you do the Mafcomp adjust, it'll do them all the or at least a lot of them, all the ones that should be in closed loop area, will adjust all those. Then you have to adjust the open loop, which is basically going to be the ones over here to the right. You have to do that yourself. But either way, you can do each individual cell if you want. It just saves you time if you do the Mafcomp adjust. But this gentleman here, I went ahead and did each one of his for him. So basically we're at 1500 hertz here, and what we're going to do, if you look at wideband factor here, you want this number as close to 0 as possible. And basically we're adding, we need to make a 9% adjustment to that particular slider at the 1500 hertz to get these numbers to match. You want these numbers to match. When you have these numbers to match, they'll help you to get your fuel table over here to hit dead on what you want. When those numbers don't match, let's say this one right here, 10.1, I've clicked on track data log up here. So at this particular RPM and load, we should be seeing about 10.1 for the air fuel ratio. And if we go back over here to our log, excuse me, we're seeing about 10.7. That's not where we want to be. If we get those numbers to match, then we should be hitting pretty close to that 10.1 target that we're trying to look to get. So what we do, this is the way I like to do it anyways. I use wideband factor. There is a formula out there you can use, a little bit more complicated, takes a little bit more time, but this is the easy way to get there. So we'll go over to 1500 hertz at about 9%. So we'll raise it up to about close to 9% as we can get it. 8.6, 9.4, they're probably both equally right in between 9. I'm not going to hit right at 9. These numbers over here that we're trying to hit, they're kind of rounded off, kind of like the math hertz is. We're not going to hit dead onto that number unless you just happen to get lucky. But basically what we're doing each individual one. Now if he had already had a number in here, let's say 9.4, and we're showing we need to do 9% adjustment, and basically we go over here and just add 9 to 9.4, so it had 18.4, and 18.4 would be your total adjustment that you'd make. But since he's already at 0, it makes it easy. We just make that particular adjustment, and bam, we're there. And you'll just go through this whole cell and do it. Now also too, in this gentleman's log, he had his injectors were a little bit too small. If you look at his injector duty cycle over here, he's about pretty close to 100. He had sent me another log where I think he was at 100 or above. Well, this one particular one right here is one of them. He had gone too small of an injector, but he was having some drivability issues. He had some 1600 cc injectors that he was using. It's giving him some drivability issues, so he went to a smaller injector. Obviously, he went too small. Don't want to see anything above maybe about 80% as far as injector duty cycle. You probably do things like bump your fuel pressure, things of that nature, to try and help bring that injector duty cycle down. You're pushing a little bit hard when you're getting above 80%. Another particular one, he had a little bit of knock on this one, even though the Mafcomp sliders weren't adjusted properly. His air fuel ratio looks to be okay. Probably want to go about 10.5, about the most you want to go on pump gas as far as air fuel ratio. Could have a couple things like maybe false knock, or may even need to try and retard the timing a little bit. He was kind of running a little bit high of a boost for the fuel injectors he was running, but still the air fuel ratio he was running doesn't seem too bad. Anyway, basically when we get all the numbers lined up, basically this is my wideband here, this is my air fuel ratio estimate. We want to have these two lines here overlapping. So when we do that, we'll go over here to the results after I had him do it, or I actually made the adjustments, had him go out and pull another third gear pull, and sent me his log. And this is basically the result of that. You see how these lines right here are pretty close to overlapping. Until we get down to here, there still needs some tweaking to be done, but I'll show you the difference. This is after I made the adjustments. Now, of course, I think he's talked down on his hertz, his MAF raw right around this area, and anything above that that he didn't see, I just brought these sliders up just to match that. I didn't want to have them, I'll show you for an example. Take these down to 0. Don't want it just dropping off like that and then just not having any adjustment, because if he does go up into that area later on, you want to have something that's kind of closely matching your adjustments up here. So basically what I do, I just take them all up, get them about even to where he had it. Now if you get into these areas a little bit later, by chance, then of course you want to adjust those sliders for there. But like I said, this is doing is just adjusting your air fuel ratio. Also too, if you noticed, if we scroll through, you can see where these are matching 12.8, 12.8, pretty close to 0, exactly where we want it. So it's looking really good just from the few adjustments I made. Now, of course, he's still got some tweaking to do down here on this bottom end. And, of course, again, we're seeing knock down here. Like I said, that could be false knock, or may need to retard the timing. A good look at the plugs might tell you what needs to be done there. But anyway, that's about all you have to do. Good luck with it. If you got any questions, just feel free to shoot me a message or on Facebook, or feel free to shoot me an email. All right, have a good evening.